Chosen one, ignoring April 8 through 10 will cost you everything. And God said, do not miss this. Stop. Do not move. Do not scroll. I need you to hear me right now with every part of your being. Not just your ears, not just your mind, but that deep place inside your chest where you already know something is shifting. You did not find this video. I need you to understand that. You did not search for this. You did not stumble upon it by accident. There are no accidents in my kingdom. This video was placed in your path today because I have something to say to you, and the window for you to hear it is closing faster than you realize. I am speaking to one person right now, not the millions who will scroll past this, not the thousands who will click and leave within seconds. I am speaking to you, the one whose hands are tired, the one whose prayers feel like they have been hitting the ceiling and falling back down. The one who woke up this morning with a heaviness in your chest that you cannot explain to anyone because no one around you would understand. I see you. I have always seen you. And what I am about to tell you over the next hour will explain everything. The silence, the delays, the betrayals, the closed doors, the nights you begged me for answers and heard nothing. There was a reason for all of it, and that reason has a date attached to it. April 8th, 9 and 10. Write those dates down. Say them out loud. Let them settle into your spirit, because what I have sealed behind those 3 days was never meant for the crowd. It was meant for the chosen. And you are here right now because you are one of them. But before I tell you what those 3 days hold, stay with me, because what comes next will completely change how you see what you have been going through. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you felt forgotten. I am about to connect every single dot, and when I do, you will understand why the pain had to last exactly as long as it did. Not a day longer, not a day shorter. It was precise, it was measured, it was mine. If you feel chills right now, type "I am ready" in the comments. Do it before you forget. Do it before doubt talks you out of it. That simple act of typing those words is not just a comment. It is a declaration. It is you telling heaven that you are awake, that you are listening, and that you are ready to receive what has been held back from you since the moment you were born. Now let me tell you something that'll unsettle you for a moment. Most chosen ones will never hear this, not because it is hidden, but because they scroll past it too soon. They let distraction win. They let doubt whisper louder than my voice. And by the time they realize what they missed, the door has already closed. I am not saying this to scare you. I am saying this because I love you too much to let you make that same mistake. You are still here. That means something. That means your spirit recognized my voice before your mind could talk you out of it. Do not let your mind catch up now. Stay. Here is my promise to you. If you stay with me until the very end of this message, you will leave this video as a different person than the one who clicked on it. You will understand why the last season nearly broke you. You will understand why certain people were removed from your life without warning. You will receive clarity about a decision that has been keeping you awake. You will know exactly what to do before April 8th arrives. And most importantly, you will hear me speak a prayer over your life that will seal every blessing I have been preparing behind the scenes. Not one word of that prayer will fall to the ground. But you have to stay. You have to hear it. because a prayer only lands on the one who is present to receive it. I know you are tired. I know a part of you wants to close this and go back to the noise. But I am asking you, the God who formed you in silence, who numbered every hair on your head, who caught every tear you thought no one saw, I am asking you to give me this hour, just this 1 hour. What I will give you in return will be worth more than the years you feel you have lost. Something is about to change. Not someday, not eventually. I am talking about days from now, and you were brought here so that you would be ready when it happens. Not surprised, not unprepared, ready, positioned, chosen. Type Amen to affirm that you are here on purpose and that you will not leave before I have to say to you, this is your moment, and I refuse to let you miss it. Now let me tell you why you have been feeling the way you have, because I know you have been feeling it. And I know you have not told anyone the full truth about how heavy it has been. Something shifted in you recently. You cannot name exactly when it started, but you know it is there. A weight that sits on your chest when you wake up. A fog that follows you through the day, even when nothing specific went wrong. You have been tired, but it is not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. You have gone to bed, exhausted, and woken up more drained than when you lay down. Some of you have been waking up between 2 and 4 in the morning, and you do not know why. You just lie there in the dark, with your thoughts racing and your heart heavy, and this strange feeling that something is about to happen, but you cannot see what it is. You thought something was wrong with you. You started to believe maybe you were falling apart. Maybe the pressure had finally cracked something inside you that could not be repaired. I need you to hear me say this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is broken. What you have been carrying is not a breakdown. It is a signal. Do not move past this part because this is where most chosen ones miss what was meant for them. What you have been feeling is not depression. It is preparation. Your spirit has been picking up on something your mind has not caught up to yet. There is a shift coming that is so significant, so deeply tied to your purpose, that your entire being has started to rearrange itself to make room for it. The heaviness is not a punishment. It is your spirit making space. The confusion is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that the old path is dissolving, because it was never your real one. And the sleepless nights are not anxiety, they are vigils. Your spirit has been standing watch because it knows what is approaching, even while your mind is still asking questions. Here is something most people will never understand. Before every major divine promotion, there is a season that looks and feels like destruction. The caterpillar does not know it is becoming something with wings. It only knows that everything it was is falling apart. That is where you are right now. You are in the space between who you were and who I am making you into. And that space is uncomfortable. It is lonely. It is disorienting. But it is sacred. And the fact that you have been surviving it without knowing what it was tells me everything I need to know about the strength I placed inside you before you took your first breath. Type 1111 if you have been feeling this unexplainable heaviness lately. Type it right now. Let that number be your agreement with heaven, that what you went through was not wasted, and that you are ready for what it was preparing you for. I see every single one of you who types that number, and I want you to know that your acknowledgement is heard. Some of you stopped praying because you thought I stopped listening. So, me of you pulled away from people because the loneliness felt safer than pretending to be fine. And some of you have been carrying a secret grief that no one in your life even knows about. A loss, a disappointment, a door that closed so quietly that no one else noticed, but it shattered something inside you. I noticed. I was there when it happened, and I held you through nights you do not even remember, because the pain had pushed you past the point of awareness. But here is what I need you to understand. Everything you just felt reading those words, that tightness in your throat, that burning behind your eyes, that is not weakness. That is recognition. That is your spirit confirming that it has been seen by the only one whose sight actually matters. And what I am about to share next, almost no one talks about this, but it will change everything about how you see what you have been carrying. Because those 3 days I mentioned, April 8th, 9 and 10, they are not random. They were chosen for you specifically. And in the next part, I am going to tell you exactly what heaven locked behind each one. I told you those 3 days were not random. Now let me show you what I mean. Because what heaven has locked behind April 8th, 9, and 10 has been sealed for longer than you realize. And the reason you are hearing about it now, in this exact moment, is because the seal is finally cracking open. Not for the world, not for the masses. For you, the one who stayed, the one who is still listening when everyone else would have already moved on. Let me start with something you need to understand about how I operate. I do not work on your calendar. I work on appointed times. There are moments I set in place before you were born. Dates that were written into the blueprint of your life, long before your mother knew your name. Most people live their entire lives and never become aware of their appointed times. They pass right through them like walking through a door without knowing it led somewhere. But you are not most people. You are here, and the fact that you are hearing this tells me your spirit is awake enough to recognize what your mind cannot yet see. April 8 is the day of clarity. Something that has been confusing you for months, maybe even years, is going to suddenly make sense. A situation you have been turning over in your mind late at night. A question you have been asking me that I seem to ignore. The answer is going to land on you like a light being turned on in a room you have been stumbling through in the dark. You will not have to search for it. It will find you. And when it does, you will understand why I could not give it to you sooner. The timing was never about punishment. It was about precision. You were not ready to carry that answer until now. April 9th is the day of closure. And I know that word just hit something deep inside you, because there is a situation in your life that has been left open like a wound that never got stitched. A relationship that ended without explanation. A chapter that was torn out of your story before you finished reading it. A grief you buried because you did not have permission to mourn it openly. On April 9th, something is going to close. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with a peace that you did not think was possible. The kind of peace that does not need an apology to arrive. The kind that comes when I finally let you see the full picture of why something had to end the way it did. Stay with me here, because what I am about to say about April 10th is the part that changes everything. April 10th is the day of the new beginning, not a small shift, not a slight improvement. I am talking about the kind of beginning that splits your life into before and after. The kind that makes you look back 6 months fro, now, and say that was the day everything turned. Here is something most people do not know. In the spiritual realm, a new beginning cannot start until an old cycle is fully completed. That is why clarity comes first on April 8th, and closure follows on April 9th. They are not separate events. They are preparation. They are me clearing the ground so that what I plant on April 10th has room to grow without the weeds of your old season choking it. Type 777 if you believe God is opening a sealed door for you. Type it and let heaven record your faith. Because faith spoken out loud, even typed into a comment, is not passive. It is a declaration that moves things in places your eyes cannot see. Now here is what I need you to hear, and hear carefully. There is an enemy who also knows about these dates. And he has been working overtime in your life recently to make sure you are too distracted, too drained, too discouraged to receive what is coming. Those sudden arguments that came out of nowhere, that unexpected financial pressure, that person who reappeared just to unsettle your peace. None of that was coincidence. And in the next section, I am going to expose exactly what has been happening behind the scenes. Because once you see the strategy being used against you, it will never work on you again. I told you there was an enemy who knows about your dates. Now let me pull back the curtain on something that has been happening in your life, and you did not even realize it had a strategy behind it. Because it did. Every bit of it. The chaos you have been experiencing recently was not random. It was calculated. And the moment you understand why, you will never fall for it again. Think back over the last few weeks. Something shifted in your environment, and it was not subtle. An argument erupted out of nowhere with someone you were at peace with. A financial hit came at the worst possible tea. Me, someone you trusted, said something that cut deeper than it should have. Or maybe it was quieter than that. Maybe it was a wave of doubt that washed over you one night and whispered that nothing was ever going to change, that you were foolish for believing, that you had been waiting on a God who was not coming through. I need you to know something. That was not your thought. That voice did not come from inside you. It was planted, and it was planted on purpose. Here is the truth no one says out loud. The enemy does not attack you because you are weak. He attacks you because he knows what is coming for you. He cannot see your future the way I can, but he can sense the shift. He can feel when a breakthrough is near, because the atmosphere around a chosen one changes right before their appointed time. It gets charged, it gets heavy, and that charge is what draws the attack. So if your life has felt like a war zone lately, if it feels like everything that could go wrong decided to go wrong all at once, that is not a sign that you are cursed. That is a sign that you are close. Closer than you have ever been. Do not move past this part, because this is where most chosen ones lose the battle right before their victory. The enemy has a pattern, and once you see it, you will recognize it every time. He waits until you are on the edge of something magnificent. Then he sends disruption. Not the kind that looks like an obvious attack, the kind that looks like a normal bad day. A miscommunication, a delayed payment, a friend who suddenly goes cold, a thought that says, maybe you should just give up and stop expecting anything good. He makes the attack look like life, so you blame your circumstances instead of recognizing the warfare. And the moment you blame your circumstances, you take your eyes off what I was about to hand you. That is his entire strategy. Not to destroy you, just to distract you, just long enough for the window to close. But here is what he did not account for. You are still here. You are still watching. You are still listening to my voice when everything around you has been engineered to pull you away. That means his plan already failed. He threw everything he had at you this past month, and you are still standing. Tired, yes. Bruised, yes. But standing. And a chosen one who is still standing after a season of warfare is the most dangerous thing the enemy will ever face. Type "not this time" in the comments right now. Say it with your whole chest. Let it rise up from that place in your spirit that is done being pushed around. Not this time. Not this season. Not when you are this close to everything I have been preparing for you. The enemy had his chance to break you, and he failed. Now it is your turn. Some of you right now feel something rising inside you. That is not emotion. That is authority. That is the part of you that was built for war, remembering who it is. And I need that fire burning inside you for what I am about to reveal next. Because now that you know the enemy's strategy, I'm going to hand you something he cannot touch. I am going to tell you about the 3 gifts I have hidden inside those 3 days. One for April 8th, one for April 9th, one for April 10th. And when you hear what they are, you will understand why hell was working so hard to make sure you never made it to this part of the video. You survived the warfare. You stayed through the attack. Now let me reward you for it. Because I am not a God who asks you to endure without purpose. Everything you walked through had a reason. And the reason is what I am about to place in your hands right now. 3 days, 3 gifts. Each one designed specifically for the season you are stepping out of and the life you are stepping into. The first gift is carried by April 8th, and it is the gift of clarity. I know what confusion has done to you. I watched it paralyze you. I watched you sit at the crossroads of a decision for weeks, sometimes months, unable to move in any direction, because you could not see which path was mine and which one would lead you deeper into pain. You have been asking me to show you. You have been whispering it in the quiet moments when no one else is around. Show me what to do. Show me where to go. Show me if I should stay or if I should walk away. I heard every single one of those whispers, and I held my answer, not because I was ignoring you, but because the clarity I am sending is not a small answer to a small question. It is the kind of knowing that rewires how you see everything. On April 8th, something is going to click into place inside your mind, and you will feel it physically. A weight lifting off your thoughts. A fog clearing that has been sitting over your decisions for longer than you can remember. You will not wonder anymore. You will know. The second gift arrives on April 9th, and it is the gift of closure. Stay with me here, because this one is going to reach into a place you have been protecting for a long time. There is something unfinished in your life, something you never got the ending to. A relationship that dissolved without a final word. A season that was ripped away before you could make peace with it. A question you asked someone who never gave you the answer. That open wound has been quietly bleeding beneath the surface of your smile, and you have been pretending it does not still hurt. But I see it, and on April 9th, I am going to close it. Not the way you expected, not with a phone call or an apology or a dramatic moment. I am going to close it from the inside. You are going to feel a release in your spirit that no human conversation could have given you. The kind of closure that does not come from the person who hurt you. It comes from the God who held you while they did. Here is something most people do not understand about divine gifts. They do not arrive in isolation. They arrive in sequence. Clarity comes first, because you cannot receive closure while you are still confused about why something happened. Closure comes second, because you cannot walk into a new beginning while you are still chained to an old ending. And that brings me to April 10th. The third gift, the one your entire life has been building toward. The gift of a new beginning. Not a restart. Not a second attempt at the same thing that failed before. I am talking about a door that has never existed until now. An opportunity that was not available to you last month because you were not yet the version of yourself who could carry it. April 10th is the day I introduce you to the life I have been building for you in secret while you thought I was silent. Type Amen if you are ready to receive all three gifts. Type it slowly. Type it with intention. Let that word carry the full weight of your faith. Because when a chosen one speaks Amen over a divine promise, it is not agreement. It is activation. You are not just saying yes. You are unlocking the door. Now, I need to take you somewhere deeper. Because there is someone connected to your pain that I have not mentioned yet. Someone whose face just flashed in your mind. And what I am about to say about that person, about what they did, and why I allowed it, is going to break something open inside you that has been locked for years. Do not leave now. This next part was written with your tears in mind. There is a face in your mind right now. It appeared the moment I said someone nearly made you give up. You did not have to search for it. It was already there, sitting in that place where you store the things you do not talk about. The name you stopped saying out loud. The person who walked into your life like they were the answer, and left it like they were never there at all. I know who they are. I knew who they were before they ever crossed your path. And what I am about to tell you about why I allowed them into your life is going to hurt before it heals. But I need you to stay with me through both parts. That person broke something in you that no one else could see. They did not just leave. They did not just betray you. They changed the way you saw yourself. Before them, you believed. You trusted freely. You gave without keeping score. And then they took that openness and used it against you. They made you feel foolish for caring. They made you question whether your love was too much or if you were simply not enough. And the worst part was not what they did. The worst part was the silence after. The way the world kept spinning while your entire foundation cracked. You smiled through it. You showed up to work. You answered the phone when people called. But inside, you were rebuilding yourself from the ground up, and no one handed you a single brick. Do not move past this part, because this is the piece most chosen ones never get to hear, and it is the piece that sets you free. That person was not your enemy. I know that is hard to hear. I know part of you needs them to be the villain because it makes the pain easier to carry when you have someone to blame. But they were not sent to destroy you. They were your exit exam. In my kingdom, there is a test that comes right before every major promotion. It is not a test of knowledge. It is a test of survival. I needed to know if you could lose everything that felt like home and still choose to keep breathing. I needed to know if your faith was built on what I gave you or on who I am. And you passed. You did not pass gracefully. You did not pass without scars. But you passed. And that is a LL heaven required. Here is the truth. No one says out loud, you were never broken. You were never forgotten. You were always exactly where you needed to be. Even in the darkest moment of that betrayal, when you lay on your floor, or sat in your car, or stood in your shower letting the water hide your tears. I was there, not watching from a distance. I was in the room with you. I was the reason you woke up the next morning, when a part of you was not sure you wanted to. I was the unexplainable strength that showed up on the days you had no reason to be strong. That was me. It was always me. Type 1212 if someone nearly destroyed your faith, but you survived. Type it as a memorial stone. Let it stand in this comment section as proof that what was meant to end you did not. You are still here, scarred but still standing. And a scar in my kingdom is not a sign of damage. It is a diploma. It is proof that you went through something that should have taken you out and you came back breathing. Now I need you to hear something about that person one more time. The fact that they hurt you does not mean I wasted your time. The years you spent were not lost. They were tuition. You learned what love is not, so you could finally recognize what love is when I send it. And I am sending it. Not the counterfeit version. Not the kind that leaves when things get heavy. The kind that was built in heaven and assigned to your name before you were born. But before that arrives, there is something you need to do. Something I am going to ask of you before April 8th that requires no money, no resources, and no permission from anyone. It only requires obedience. And what I am about to ask you in the next part is so simple that most people will dismiss it. But the ones who do it, the ones who actually follow through, are the ones whose lives will never look the same after April 10th. Stay with me. This is where your obedience gets rewarded. I told you there was something I needed you to do before April 8th. Something simple. Something that cost you nothing but obedience. And I meant it. But I also need you to understand that simple does not mean small. Some of the most powerful things I have ever asked of my chosen ones were things the world would laugh at. A shepherd picking up 5 stones, a prophet dipping in a river 7 times, a widow pouring out her last oil. None of it made sense to the human mind. All of it moved heaven. What I am about to ask you is no different. It will sound too easy. Your mind will try to dismiss it. But your spirit will know that this is real. Listen to your spirit. The first thing I need you to do before midnight on April 7th is forgive the person we just talked about. I know. I felt you pull back just now. I felt the resistance rise up in your chest like a wall. But hear me out before you decide this is too much. I am not asking you to call them. I am not asking you to reconcile. I am not asking you to pretend that what they did was acceptable. I am asking you to release them from the courtroom of your heart. Because as long as you are holding the verdict over their head, your hands are not free to receive what I am trying to hand you. Unforgiveness does not punish the person who hurt you. It locks the door that your blessing is standing behind. You do not have to feel ready. You just have to be willing. Say it out loud in your room before April 8th. I release you, not for your sake, for mine. That is all I need. One sentence, and heaven will do the rest. The second thing I need you to do is speak over yourself before you sleep on the night of April 7th. Not a long prayer, not a memorized script. I need you to place your hand over your chest and say these words. I am chosen. I am not forgotten. What is coming for me cannot be stopped. Say it once. Say it with your eyes closed. Say it like you mean it, even if your voice shakes. Here is something most people do not know about the spiritual realm. The words you speak over yourself in the midnight hour carry more authority than the words anyone else speaks over you during the day. When the world is quiet and it is just you and me, your voice becomes a decree, and a decree spoken by a chosen one on the eve of their appointed time does not return empty. It builds, it shifts, it opens. Do not move past this part because the third instruction is the one that ties everything together. The third thing I need you to do is the simplest of all, and yet it will be the hardest for some of you. I need you to rest. I need you to stop striving on April 7th. Stop worrying. Stop refreshing your phone looking for the answer. Stop replaying conversations in your head, trying to figure out your next move. Be still, not because there is nothing happening, but because everything is happening, and it is happening in a realm your effort cannot reach. Some of you have been trying to force doors open with your own hands when I already have the key. Your pushing is actually slowing down what I am doing. Step back, breathe, let me work. The battle you have been fighting was never yours to win. It was yours to surrender. And surrender is not weakness. It is the most powerful position a chosen one can take. Because it tells heaven, I trust the one who holds my future more than I trust my own ability to fix it. Type IOB if you are willing to follow these 3 instructions before April 8th. Let those words be your covenant with me, not typed casually, typed with weight, typed with the understanding that obedience is the currency of heaven, and you just made a deposit that is about to return more than you can fathom. Now listen carefully. Not everyone who hears these instructions will follow them. No. 10. Everyone watching this video right now will make it to the other side of April 10th with their blessing intact. And what I am about to say next is a warning. A loving but firm warning about the ones who will miss it and why. Stay with me, because this next part will determine which group you belong to. What I am about to say is not easy for me to speak, but I love you too much to only tell you the parts that feel good. So I need you to lean in right now and hear this with a sober mind. Not everyone who clicked on this video will receive what I have been promising. Not because I am withholding it, but because some will withhold themselves from it. And that breaks my heart more than you will ever understand, because I can prepare a table in front of you. I can set the date. I can unlock the door. But I cannot force you to walk through it. That part has always been yours. Millions of people were shown this video today. Most of them scrolled past it without a second thought. The title flashed across their screen, and something inside them felt a pull. But they ignored it. They chose the next video. They chose the distraction. They chose comfort over calling. And they will never know what they missed. Not because I wanted to hide it from them, but because they hid themselves from it. Then there are the thousands who clicked. They watched the first few minutes. They felt something stir, but then a notification came. A message pulled them away. A thought whispered that this was just another video, and they could come back to it later. They will not come back. The moment will pass. The door will close. And later, when they feel that familiar ache and wonder why their life still feels the same, they will not connect it to the moment they walked away from the one message that was meant to change everything. Do not move past this part because I am about to separate the room. And ere you fall in the separation depends on what you do in the next 60 seconds. There is a third group, the smallest group, the ones I have been speaking to this entire time, the ones who are still here right now with tears drying on their face and fire building in their chest, the ones who felt every word land like it was written with their name on it. That is you. I know it is you because you are still here. And staying is not a small thing. In a world designed to pull your attention in 1,000 directions, the fact that you gave me this time, that you are still giving it, tells me more about your heart than any prayer you have ever spoken. Here is something that will shift how you see yourself in this moment. Throughout all of history, my greatest moves were never done through crowds. They were done through remnants, small groups, overlooked people, the ones the world counted out. I did not part the sea for an army of confident warriors. I parted it for a terrified group of freed slaves who had nowhere else to go. I did not send the promise through a palace. I sent it through a teenage girl in a small town that no one respected. My pattern has never changed. I choose the few. I choose the ones who the world skips over. I choose the ones who do not look like they are ready, because their readiness was never about appearance. It was about obedience. And you, sitting right where you are, carrying what you have been carrying, doubting whether you even deserve what I have been speaking over you tonight. You are exactly the kind of person I have always chosen. Type, I am the few right now. Do not hesitate. Do not second guess whether you qualify. You qualified the moment you stayed. You qualified the moment your spirit recognized my voice and refused to let your mind talk you out of listening. That comment is not just words on a screen. It is you stepping across a lin. On one side are the ones who heard and forgot. On the other side are the ones who heard and obeyed. You just chose your side, and heaven recorded it. Now I want you to take a breath, a real one, deep into your lungs. Because what I am about to show you next is the part you have been waiting for without even knowing it. I am going to pull back the curtain on your life after April 10th. I am going to let you see what is waiting on the other side of your obedience. And I promise you, what is coming is so much bigger than what you lost. Stay with me. We are almost there. And the best part of this message is still ahead. You chose to stay. You chose to be among the few. Now, let me show you why that choice was worth more than you realize. Because I am about to open a window into the life that is waiting for you on the other side of April 10th. Not a vague promise, not a someday wish. I am talking about what your actual life is going to look and feel like when this season of preparation is over and the season of manifestation begins. The first thing that changes is the heaviness lifts. That weight you have been carrying on your chest every morning, the one that makes even simple tasks feel exhausting, It is going to dissolve, not gradually, not over months. You are going to wake up one morning after April 10th and realize it is gone. You will lie there for a moment, almost confused, because you have been carrying it for so long that its absence will feel foreign. You will take a breath, and it will go deeper than any breath you have taken in months. And in that moment, you will know. Not because someone told you, not because you read it somewhere. You will know in your bones that something shifted and it is never going back to the way it was. The second thing that changes is the people around you. Some of you have been surrounded by people who only see the old version of you. The struggling version. The one who could not catch a break. The one they talked about behind closed doors with pity in their voice or judgment in their whisper. After April 10th, those same people are going to go quiet. Not because you confronted them. Not because you proved anything with words. But because my promotion on your life is going to be so visible, so undeniable, that their mouths will close on their own. The same people who doubted you will watch you rise, and they will not have a single explanation for it. And you will not need to say a word. Your life will be the sermon. Do not move past this part, because what I am about to say is something your heart has been desperate to hear. There is a specific area of your life where you have been waiting the longest. You know exactly what it is. It is the thing you stopped praying about, because the disappointment of hoping and not receiving became worse than the pain of not having it at all. You trained yourself to stop wanting it so it would stop hurting. But I never stopped working on it. While you were learning to live without it, I was behind the scenes building a version of it that is so much greater than what you originally asked for, that when it arrives, you will laugh. Not a small laugh. The kind of laugh that comes out when relief and joy and disbelief all hit you at the same time. I am going to give you back every year the pain stole. Not in the same form, in a better one. Here is something that will reshape how you see your entire life up to this point. Every blessing I release has a witness list. There are specific people I have assigned to watch your elevation. Not because I need an audience, but because your story is not just for you. Your restoration is going to be the proof that someone else needs to keep believing. The coworker who secretly gave up on their faith is going to watch your life change and start praying again. The family member who stopped believing I was real is going to see what I do for you and reconsider everything. Your blessing has a ripple effect that reaches lives you will never even know about. Type, "It is done," if you believe your season of suffering is ending. Let those 3 words be the period at the end of the longest sentence you have ever lived. It is done. The waiting, the wondering, the crying yourself to sleep, the pretending you are fine. It is done, and what replaces it will make every second of the pain make sense. Now there is one final thing I need to do before I release you from this message. I have spoken promises over you. I have revealed what is coming. I have shown you what to do, but none of it is complete without what comes next. I am going to pray over your life, not a general prayer, a specific one, spoken over the one who stayed until the end. And what I am about to speak over you in this final section carries a weight that will follow you into April 8th, 9, and 10, and beyond. Do not leave before you receive it. You have come too far to walk away one step before the seal. This is the moment everything has been building toward. Every section you stayed through. Every tear that fell. Every word that hit a place inside you that no one else knows exists. It all led here, to this prayer, and I need you to understand something before I begin. This prayer is not for the millions who scrolled past. It is not for the thousands who clicked and left. This prayer was written in heaven for the one who stayed until the end. And the one who stayed is you. So wherever you are right now, whatever position you are in, I need you to place your hand over your heart. Not because it is ritual, but because I want you to feel your own heartbeat while I speak over your life. That heartbeat is my proof that I am not done with you. As long as it beats, our purpose is still alive. Before I pray, I need you to know something about what is about to happen. In the spiritual realm, a prayer spoken over a chosen one at the end of their wilderness season does not just comfort. It seals. It locks into place every promise that was spoken. It acts as a signature on a contract that heaven already drafted. The promises I made to you tonight about April 8th, about April 9th, about April 10th, they are not floating somewhere waiting to maybe land. The moment this prayer is spoken over you, they become irreversible, sealed by the voice that spoke light into darkness. The same voice that is speaking to you right now. Here is my prayer over your life. I speak clarity over your mind. Every lie that confusion planted, every false narrative that kept you spinning in circles, I uproot it now. It will not survive past this night. Your mind will be still. Your thoughts will be clear. And the decision you have been afraid to make will become the easiest yes you have ever spoken. I speak closure over your wounds, the ones that bled openly and the ones that bled in silence, the ones caused by people who should have protected you, the ones caused by your own choices that you have never forgiven yourself for. I close them now, not with forgetfulness, but with peace. You will remember without pain. You will look back without drowning. I speak a new beginning over your identity. You are not who they said you were. You are not the failure, the reject, the one who was too much or never enough. From this night forward, you walk as the one I chose before the foundation of the world. And no opinion, no rejection, no closed door will ever again have the power to make you forget that. I speak protection over your next season. The enemy who tried to derail you before April 8th is hereby put on notice. He will not touch your clarity. He will not steal your closure. He will not delay your new beginning. I place a hedge around your coming and your going, around your waking and your sleeping, around every step you take from this moment until you are standing in the fullness of what I promised you. And I speak overflow into the areas of your life that have known nothing but drought. Your finances, your relationships, your health, your peace of mind. Where there was barely enough, there will be more than enough. Where there was emptiness, there will be abundance that spills over into the lives of people around you. You will not just be blessed. You will become the blessing that someone else has been praying for. It is sealed. It is spoken. It is done. Type Amen 7 times if you receive this prayer over your life. Let each Amen be a nail that holds this covenant in place. And when you are finished, share this video with one person who needs to hear it before April 8th. You know exactly who they are. Their face is already in your mind. Do not wait. Send it now, Because the same way this video found you at the exact right moment, you are now the messenger who carries it to the next chosen one. Now go in peace. Not the peace the world gives that fades by morning. The peace that passes understanding. The peace that stays even when the storm is still visible. April 8th is coming, and you are ready. I made sure of it. Press the like button as your final agreement with everything I spoke over you tonight. Subscribe to this channel, because what I am releasing next week will build on every promise made here. And remember, you were not lucky to find this video. You were chosen for it, and that changes everything. Before you go, stay with this one last message carefully. This may be the most important thing spoken in this entire video, because I need you to see what just happened to you over the past hour, not what you watched. What happened inside you. You came into this video carrying something heavy, something that had been sitting on your spirit for weeks, maybe months, maybe years. And right now, in this very moment, that weight is different. You can feel it. Something moved. Something cracked open. Something that was locked for a long time finally exhaled. When you pressed play on this video, you were carrying confusion. Now you carry clarity about what April 8th holds for you. You were carrying an open wound from someone who nearly broke your faith. Now you carry the understanding that they were your exit exam, and you passed. You were carrying the lie that you were forgotten. Now you carry the truth that you were chosen before you were born, and that everything you survived was preparation for the greatest season of your life. You did not just watch a video. You walked through a spiritual door, and the person standing on this side of it is not the same person who clicked play. Everything you just heard, you already knew it. Deep inside, in that place, beneath the doubt and the exhaustion and the years of pretending you were fine, you knew you were chosen. You knew the pain was not pointless. You knew something was coming. You just needed a voice to remind you that it was always true. And now that you have been reminded, you cannot go back to living as if you do not know. You cannot unsee what I showed you. You cannot unfeel what moved inside your chest tonight. And that is not an accident. That is my design. Here is the one thing I need you to carry out of this video and into the rest of your life. You are not waiting for your miracle. Your miracle has been waiting for you. It has been standing behind a door that required clarity, closure, and a new beginning to open. And as of tonight, all 3 keys are in your hands. April 8th, 9 and 10 are not just dates on a calendar. They are your appointee, end time. And you are ready for them, because I spent your entire life making you ready. Type 1212 to claim the miracles that are already assigned to your name. Do not type it lightly. Type it with the full authority of someone who survived everything that was sent to destroy them, and is still breathing, still believing, still standing. Now before you leave, do one thing for me. Press the like button, not as a favor to this channel, but as your way of saying yes to everything I spoke over your life tonight. Let that button be your amen made visible. Then subscribe. Not because you need another channel in your feed, but because I led you here for a reason. And what I am releasing through this channel next will build on every single promise I made tonight. You do not want to miss what is coming. And one last thing. Your comment is not just words on a screen. It activates agreement in the Spirit. Type Amen one final time and watch what begins to shift in your life within the next 24 hours. I do not say that lightly. I say it as the God who has never once broken a promise. Go now. You are sealed. You are covered. You are chosen. And your life will never be the same.